Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today I'll be recapping the U.S.S Omega and Halloween event rewards shown on the October 21st dev stream. As always, chapters to everything are listed down below. First up is the U.S.S Omega, the ship from IDW's The Last Starship comic. This ship originates from the post-burn era that we learned about in Star Trek Discovery. It is a kit bash of pieces from several different ships put together to form one functional ship. If you'd like to learn more about the history of the ship or its design, Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly were on the 10 Forward stream to discuss it along with Thomas, Keen, Jeremy, and others from the STO team. I'll have that stream linked down below for those interested. Now, as for how you can get the Omega, it is unfortunately an Infinity Lockbox ship. And per the stream, it sounds like it will be going live on all platforms tomorrow, October 22nd. Also, with this being a premium ship released in 2025, it will be available as an option from future event campaigns starting in 2026 and beyond. And diving into the stats, this is a battlecruiser with a 4-4 weapons layout. Now I know many of you strongly prefer to have 5 forward weapons, but 4-4 setups have seen some pretty big boosts this year with the various broadside buffs that enable them to perform very well. I'll be covering that more in an upcoming meta update, but we truly are at a point where we can't immediately dismiss a ship purely based on it having a 4-4 weapon setup. Beyond that, we have 4 attack consoles, 2 science, 5 eng, and 1 universal, with the ability to have 3 universals when the ship is taken up to tier 6 X2. Now, heading over to the bridge officer layout, this is what really makes or breaks a ship nowadays. In this case, we have a commander engineer with merc worker, a lieutenant commander tac with pilot, a lieutenant commander universal, lieutenant tac, and an ensign engineer. Commander merc worker and lieutenant commander pilot are not the strongest specialization combo, but like anything else in STO, there is so much power creep that you can clear all content with it. This is a combo that we have seen on some iconic ships like the legendary Sovereign and Excelsior, and of course the Connie 3. Now, compared to those, the Omega does have a lead over the legendary Sovereign and Excelsior in that it can use that Lieutenant Commander Universal to run as science and pick up Gravity Well 1. But the Connie 3 can do that also, and the Connie 3 doesn't have a secondary Ensign Engineer seat to contend with. And I forgot to mention it before, but the Omega being a battlecruiser does give it the ability to run dual cannons if you want, but that doesn't change how I view this ship against its competition. It's better than those 2 legendaries, but it is worse than the Constitution 3. Overall, if you want to fly the ship, you can easily make it work, but at that lockbox price point, that same box could be getting you a Credence, World Razor, or many other stronger Federation ships. It's not a bad ship, it's just outclassed performance-wise at this price point. And for the console, this is Attack Pattern Kirk Omega. Passives are plus 15% flight speed and 15% reduced recharge time for transwarp abilities. The clicky is going to make you immune to all damage on your rear 180-degree arc for 30 seconds or until 24,845 damage has been prevented. And while the clicky is active, it has a green shield effect on the back of your ship, as you can see at the top right. And alongside that damage prevention, there's also a 200% flight speed and turn rate buff while active, and depending on your throttle percentage, you're going to get a damage buff ranging from 0% at 0 throttle up to 33% at 100% throttle. And based on the wording of the tooltip here, it appears that damage buff is category 1. And the clicky on this console has a 2-minute recharge, but every time you hit a pilot bridge officer ability, it's going to reduce the cooldown by 15%. So on the right setup, you could heavily spam this console. Now, that damage prevention it does sounds nice, but as you can see, it will only take 25k damage for you. That's likely to be just a shot or 2 in any higher difficulty environments. And I also wonder if you take a hit for say 100k, is it going to stop that entire shot, or just the 25k portion of it? That's something we're going to have to test and figure out. Overall, it is an interesting console, but one that would have had much more impact if not on an expensive lockbox ship that is just for a single character. You know, this in the C-Store, this would have been really fun for people who have played around with, but as is, not many people are going to have an opportunity to ever actually play with this. And for the Starship trait, this is Adaptive Throttle. While slotted, when you are in full throttle and in combat, you gain a stack of Adaptive Throttle. This stacks up to 10 times, and all stacks are lost immediately if you drop your throttle. Each stack nets your weapons in your forward 180-degree arc a 2.5% damage buff, so 25% at the max 10 stacks. For weapons shooting in your aft 180-degree arc, it is 5% damage per stack, or 50% at max. In addition, each stack makes your weapon's power cost decrease by 5%, so max of 50%. And per comments in the stream, it sounds like your forward weapons hitting a target in the aft 180-degree arc would receive the aft damage bonus, and vice versa for aft weapons hitting forward targets. This is great for those of you that like to stay at full throttle for pedal to the metal setups. Performance-wise, sitting still at strategic positions is still going to offer much more than the straight, but if you hate that and like to keep moving, this may be of interest to you. Though if the damage buff is just Cat 1, I'm not sure it would be worth using this given the current trait selection we have, especially for those able to afford lockbox ships such as this. Overall, the Omega isn't a terrible ship, it's just way too overpriced for what it's offering. With its aft focused, Miku mentioned that she wanted to make this a 3-5 weapon setup initially, and I think there are ways to make 3-5 setups interesting and very viable, but not with America Worker Pilot setup on a Battlecruiser. 4-4 plays it safe, and I think was the right move for this ship. And next up is the Halloween event, which goes live on all platforms today, October 22nd. Options for this should be the same as prior years, so 1 run of the Cat's Tail TFO each day, or 2 of the patrols. Now, if you're looking for guidance on the fastest option here, I do have an older video going over this, which I'll have linked down below. And the reward for the 2025 Halloween event is this really awesome kit module that is going to summon up 4 of these Risen Walkers that are going to go follow you for 30 seconds and attack nearby foes. Here they are in action. So really, really awesome visuals there. And you can see it's red shirts, the dead red shirts are going out and getting their revenge. So really awesome visual there. And this does also have a passive on it where when you die while this kit module is slotted, it's going to bring you back as a Risen Walker, granting you access to new abilities while it's active. Now, be careful in PvP though, because with this on, you're going to have your initial death, and then 30 seconds after this goes and activates and lets you walk around as a zombie, it's going to kill you again, so just beware. That would be 2 deaths. That can go off once every 2 minutes, and here's what that looks like in action. So you can see that the test account there that Jeremy's running just died, and it brought him back as a zombie, so really cool set of effects right there. And if you use this on a social map, it has a different effect here. So you'll see that they still crawl out of the ground, but they don't go and attack anyone because there's nobody to attack. Instead, they all start doing Thriller. So it is a very fun kit module. It's not going to be something for performance, obviously, but I think a lot of you are going to have quite a bit of fun with what this offers. And separate from the event reward is some new emotes that we can buy with Lobi in the event's miscellaneous tab: Emphatic Agreement, the Walker Shuffle, and Subspace Abduction. These cost 20 Lobi per and are a per character purchase. Here is Emphatic Agreement, the Walker Shuffle. Now, unfortunately, the stream was a bit laggy at this point, so even looking at the VOD, it's not the best quality, so we'll see this better when it goes live here in a couple hours. And the final one is Subspace Abduction, and to me, this is the best of the 3. It's like a nice AFK emote is what they said. It's unfortunate that your character is visible again right afterwards, but that being sucked up into the portal there, that is a really, really neat effect. And that is all I have for you guys today. I guess they did say the Feast event will be starting up right after the Halloween event, so that is the 6th and final part of this event campaign for those of us on PC, so make sure to stay engaged throughout the rest of the year because we're going to have the Halloween event starting in a couple hours, then the Feast event, and then the Winter event, all in quick succession. But again, that is it for today. As always, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. See you guys around.